back to Just
Right
Now! Episode 3 already, which is crazy.
Damn.
Yeah.
I'm excited for this one though. This
So
is going to be a good one.
As you guys can tell, in this episode we are missing the headphones and the microphone that we usually have. But that's just because we were having a lot of technical difficulties. But expect better equipment soon. No more of that. Expect better equipment soon because we're locked in with you guys and this podcast.
Yeah, and with that being said, today's topic is definitely a little bit more of an uplifter. Last week was a little more heavy. So we're going to go into how to find happiness from within. And it's kind of us learning to do that too, because I feel like that is not a linear thing. Happiness is not something that just comes in the moment and you're not going to feel it every day, every moment of your life. You're going to have ups and downs, and it's just something that changes all the time. So we're going to try and touch on topics that we have personally learned to do in the moments we're feeling low, of what we can do to feel happier. There's such a big difference from being happy with your life and happy in your life. And let me just sit with that for a bit, because
it
is definitely such a big thing, because those two words make such a difference with the word happiness.
With an N?
With an N.
In what ways do you think?
So being happy with your life is the outside image of your life. It's like how you show yourself to be, how other people perceive you to be, your job, how you post on social media, just all of that. It's not really anything to do with emotion. It's nothing to do with how you are personally. It's how you are seen on the outside.
Okay, that's actually really helpful, because I feel like the word with has a connotation of an attachment to something else.
Yeah.
And so I think what you're trying to get at is that if you focus on the idea of being happy with your life, then you're more so fixating on being happy with external things in your life.
Exactly that.
She ate.
And it's I would have never thought of this until the other day. I was really thinking about I've been really busy with life the past few weeks. It's just been go, go, go. And I'm damn, I really need to learn to spend time with myself. There's all these things I'm doing to make it look like everything is perfect on the outside. I'm on a dance team, I'm working, I'm in school, we're doing the podcast. There's so many things that I could say my life looks good. Like then there's another part to that, and it's being happy in your life. And I can't say I have been happy in my life. I have moments where I am happy and I feel oh my God, I'm doing this because it will help me in the future. It will do this. It will look good on the outside, and maybe I'll build off of that. But it doesn't just come like that. That's not how life works. That's not how happiness works.
She said, it's not black and white.
It is not. And so being happy in your life is another side to it, where it's the emotional aspect, checking in on yourself, your relationships with people, the connection. As humans, I think we really discard this, especially now because everything's so accessible with social media, with our phones and all that. Human connection is so important. And the way that we connect with others and put ourselves in social situations and all of that, people can see that you're doing well on the outside with your life, but no one's really checking how are you doing on the inside. How are you doing emotionally? And so I feel that's where a lot of people disconnect in this world. It's people who look like they're happy with their life, people don't care to check in on them as much. It's oh, you're doing fine.
Because everybody's so focused on that external outlook.
Exactly.
Especially with the social media world.
Yeah.
So geez, that's really good. I never even thought about that.
Right?
I guess we all I think about things like that. Social media doesn't show everything and everything's fake, whatever. But I think with the phrase that she's using really puts it into it solidifies the idea of it.
The difference.
Yeah. Which is with you're constantly looking for internal validation on the outside, which is really contradictory if you ask me, because how can you really be happy within yourself and in your life if you're constantly looking for other things on the outside to make you happy that are not sustainable?
So
the only things sustainable in this life are your outlook of who you are,
Yeah.
your knowledge, your kindness, your soul, your heart, and you know everything else. Like for example, what she was naming, external things like being on a team or money or things like that, they come and go. So if you're constantly placing validation and your happiness with the things that are going good in your life, that are coming in and out, that are not within you, then you're doing a really risky move.
So real. I
That's
think you
very
explained
risky.
that really perfectly.
Yeah.
And I wanted to ask you, like, do you have like, now that you kind of like get that analogy or whatever, do you find that there's certain ways in your life that you could see it differently?
Yeah. I think that I've actually lately been trying very hard at being alone, and I have found that when you're with your own presence,
Which is a very difficult thing.
Yeah.
Nowadays, it's very difficult.
Yeah, but I have felt that when you're with your own presence, and just like more at peace and getting to know yourself, then you find so much happiness in like the little things instead of these big like things that you see online. Like,
external.
do you know what I mean? So I think, for example, me, I used to be in back-to-back relationships.
So many people do that. Like that's a thing.
Yeah, because I was so afraid to be by myself and to look within and find happiness in my life. And even though I was very unhappy in my relationships for majority of the time, as long as I was with someone and it appeared like I was with someone, that keyword with, and I was with protection and with this and with a man and da-da-da-da, even though I was miserable, I felt good thinking that like people know that I'm not alone.
Yeah.
Or I
So real.
Yeah, but it's like now that I've actually taken my time away from that and just been like, I know what I need, and sat down within myself, I've discovered that I'm a lot more funny and better version of myself being alone than being with the wrong company. It's so much better to be alone and get to know who you are than to be with other people that aren't your right people just because you are afraid to be alone. And it's okay to be afraid to be alone. It's okay to recognize that because we are social creatures, and I get that. We all want that comfort. But yeah, like Naya was saying, I'm now shifting into a mindset of I cannot focus so much about who I'm with that's going to make me happy, or other things that are going to bring me happy in the external world. I'm more so focused on me and the little things,
Being happy.
and even right now doing music, like being patient with the process of things, the podcast, like even though when you're on a journey to complete a certain goal, whether that's to lose weight, gain weight, blow up on social media, create music, we're oftentimes paying attention to the things that come with it.
For sure.
Such as the money, the attention, the numbers, the clothes fitting better, all of that shit. Which is why a lot of the times people lose motivation and they go back to the I gave up, it's not for me, they doubt their abilities, their potential. But I feel like if you start to pay attention to the little things within you, that even like sitting there and being like, hey, like I'm doing this for me, like I'm getting up every morning, like I might not see progress as fast as I wanted to, but I'm doing it.
Yeah.
And what am I noticing within myself along this process? I'm meeting new people, I'm being more patient, I'm putting myself out there, I'm admitting that I can get better, and I'm working towards it. So period.
I think you understanding that right now just shows how powerful it can be to understand the difference between that.
Yeah.
Because when I like thought of that, I literally put it on a sticky note. I'm a big fan of sticky notes. Like anytime I think
copied
her. Anytime I think of something, or like I'm like, damn, like an aha moment. Like I have one of those. I'm like, I'm gonna put this on my wall so I remember it. And it's literally there. And every day I just think about it. I'm like, okay, like if there's something that's throwing me off at work, per se, and I'm like, oh my god, I don't know how to do this, and I really need help, but on the outside, I need my boss, I don't want my boss to see that I need help, like it's a weak thing, whatever. For me, it's like, I will always go on the outside thing of, oh, they will see me as I'm not smart enough, I'm not this, and it's like, with that connection, I'm associating myself with feeling invalidated in a way. That's not going to bring me happiness. Being happy in that moment is being accepting, like within that, oh, I don't understand this, I can ask for help and I can meet him on the other side, and no one will ever judge you for asking for help.
Only the people, sorry to interrupt you, but only the people that are too afraid themselves.
Oh yeah, so real, so real. And yeah, if people are judging you for like showing that you're vulnerable or that you need some support in the moment or any of that, those people are not for you. You really don't want them in your life, because the people that can recognize in those moments when you're being vulnerable or like asking for help or just showing that you're ready to go to the next step in progress and bettering yourself and all of that, if someone doesn't recognize that and doesn't want to provide in a certain way and give to you, there is no reason to give your energy to that. Your happiness doesn't depend on how someone else sees you, because at the end of the day, we want everyone on the outside to see us a certain way, and that's how we try to move. But then you can look on the inside and be like, no, if I do this, this will provide me peace on the inside, and then I can move forward with that in a different way. It's about changing the mindset, flipping the narrative.
Yeah.
If you always think
neuroplasticity.
Yeah, literally. Everyone is always going to judge you if you think everyone is judging you. If you want to believe everyone is judging you, everyone's judging you. That's how it is. But like, if you want to admit to someone, hey, like, I need help with this, I'm struggling a little, I need you to give me some support and provide me with some happiness in a different way. Comfortability. I feel like going back to comfortable things when you're unhappy is a very big thing that I think we can get into now. But happiness isn't dependent on anyone else but you. Mm-hmm. It's not. And that's very harsh to say, but no one can provide you happiness. When you're unhappy and you feel it deep down to the core that you're unhappy, take accountability. Recognize you're unhappy, you're not feeling good, and try and figure out next steps in those moments of what you can do to provide for yourself. Look within. Just searching for the external validation of, oh, if I go to work, I'm gonna get more money, I'm going to do this. Money doesn't do shit if you aren't happy. Yeah, no, sorry, beep. It doesn't do jack if you aren't happy on the inside. And there's actually a study I read on this, and it's like, I think it was $75,000 or something. Yes, if someone makes an annual income of $75,000, and then they're just constantly looking for more or more or more money after that, you can't find money, like happiness in money.
It's like the story of
you really can't. Yeah, and I think that's a great story. She told me this
Rodrigo
story.
needs to be on the podcast.
I agree, but like you told me that story, and that changed so much. I've told like 10 people that story.
Is it basically this? You know, this story was told to me by my brother, so I mean, whatever. There was this farmer, I believe, who lived on a beach. Farmer on a beach. What do you call those people?
A fisher.
Fisher. There was a fisher that lived on a beach. He was really good at fishing because obviously that's how he lived and survived. And he was very humble, just bare minimum necessities in life ever. And somebody ended up going up to him and they were like, dude, you can fish really, really well. Like, it's a skill you've developed throughout your whole life. Like, you could really blow up from this. And he was like, how? Oh, well, you can start, building your own company and fishing for people, giving them food. Okay, and then what? Said the fisherman. And then it's like, oh, well, then you can invest into your company. And then you can get employees to do it. And then eventually you don't have to work. And then he's like, and then what? And then you'll be a billionaire and have so much money. And then he's like, and then what? And then he's like, and then you can go on vacations and whatever. And the fisherman's like, so do all of that and then just to end up on a beach on vacation, which is exactly how I'm already living. So I think that story is really beautiful because it's not in a way to discourage people who dream big and want to do huge things. It's more shifting the perspective of kind of what we were saying, where it's like, you need to start being okay and accepting that in life, the little things really can make you so happy. And you don't necessarily need to believe that you need to do all these great, huge things to be happy or to be successful, because
if you're already happy in the moment.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And for that fisherman, like, he was happy with being with nature and doing what, so it's like society will always try to push on you what looks pretty and what will make you the happiest. But that's when you take your power back and you're like, how the heck do you know what would make me happy if this is me? Which is why we go back to why it's so important to spend time with yourself. Because if you don't spend enough time with yourself and you're with people all the time and the wrong people.
Especially in your 20s, guys.
Especially in your 20s. It's prime time.
Time doesn't
just
come
right now.
Just if you think like time comes, yeah, no, literally what you just said. But like time doesn't open up as you get older. more things start to happen. Life happens, and you're not going to have the time to go within as much as you do now. This is, yes, a time for you to explore and realize, like, oh, this doesn't work out for me, but this does, and whatever. But you can take control of that. Like, you will not have the same time you do in your 20s later on in your life. And that is a very harsh thing to say, but it's real. You're gonna have a family, you're gonna have different things coming. And so, like, take that time to be present with yourself right now. It is so important to figure that out, because we listen to all these stories about our parents ending up in relationships, and like they didn't have awareness for things when they were younger, and it's just, that's because they didn't take the time to find like what's happy for them within before going into certain things. Yes, some people don't have control over that, and things don't like life just happens. But if you do have time to just sit with yourself, and you don't have to just be chasing the next guy all the time, or chasing the next job, or chasing like the next degree, the next number, like all of that, take the time.
Yeah.
That is not something anyone will judge you for, because that time is something that can...
It's valuable. Time is money. Time is valuable.
It is so valuable. And I will say right now, I took 6 months off of school, and that time changed my life. I literally got my life together, and I came back so much stronger because I had the willingness to go within, figure out what was making me feel a certain way, and then recognize it, and then come out on another side. Cut off people in my life that weren't adding to my life just as much as I was trying to add to their. That's energy draining. That's not happiness. You don't want that. I was in a degree I didn't enjoy at the time. I was doing that for the external validation of being a pharmacist. That's not right. I truly just wanted to help people and just be there and give support to people that truly, truly need it. And I wasn't doing that. So I can say firsthand to you right now, be present with how you're feeling. Go within. If you don't feel you're in the right position for something, you don't need to confide to the external validation of others to suit your needs. Because at the end of the day, it will come out in different ways, and you will just feel like you screwed up. Take control of it when you feel it, because it can come out in such different ways if you don't. And so happiness comes from within. If you truly take the time to go within and try and be like, this doesn't suit me. This doesn't really fit me right now.
Get to know yourself.
Yeah, like these are things that brought me like satisfaction when I was a child, or like things that made me feel comfortable or whatever. You're allowed to dive into those things. Don't let anyone like deter you from that, or any societal pressures or any of that. That is not a way to feel happy in your own skin, in your own life. So yeah, it's a big one.
So yeah, I guess our first point, that was long, but that was good.
That was a really good point.
It was.
I feel like that,
and it's basically just looking within, focusing more on the noun in instead of with. Try to separate so much external things in your life. It's great. It's great to feel it. It's great to gain the success, and it's great to see the process of things when you put like effort. But it's more so focus less on the outcome and more on the person you're becoming, because you're going through it to get to the outcome.
Literally.
So less with, more within, because we're all so powerful and filled with so much abundance if we truly believe it. This is my spiritual side coming out.
We love our
it's
spiritual
so true. Like, it is so true. There's enough for everybody, and the only person who's going to get in the way of that is yourself if you don't believe in you, because you don't take the time. And what an injustice would that be for yourself? We have one life. You're stuck with this body, with this mind, with this heart. Do the best that you can to get to know it, to protect it, and to love it.
Your body is yours for the rest of your life. No one can replicate it. No one can take it from you. No one can change it. It is yours. Your brain has so much power. And it is crazy what you can do if you put your mind to something and don't necessarily take everyone's opinions as your own.
Yeah. Yeah, because those are people that just haven't gotten the chance to get to know themselves.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it wouldn't be so focused on judging you.
Yeah, and I think also in our generation, I always bring this up, but social media is such a big thing. It deters us from happiness in a way. And so when we're constantly trying to seek or like
validation, because I feel like because social media is directly attached to the noun with.
Yeah, it is.
With social media comes what? With social media comes fame, comes likes, comes comments, comes hate, comes numbers, comes success, comes popularity, comes canceling. With social media comes all of that dopamine chasing stuff that your brain is naturally drawn to, that quick little boost.
Yeah.
So social media can be really dangerous, really helpful, but really dangerous.
I think we have to really, our generation, this is a big part of what got me into public health in the first place. It's like, we are so fixated on how we are seen on the outside, and that we don't take the time to be like, oh my god, that actually doesn't suit me, that doesn't make me feel good. And so when you're stalking someone on social media or comparing yourself, or you're posting a highlight reel when deep down you're actually like you're depressed, like you're feeling it on the inside, and like that is not going to help you feel happier. I've had to like
you just are looking for that dopamine
exactly
boost, the comments, the likes. That's why that's actually something that I've done very different from the past times.
Yeah, and I've seen that.
When I've been very down bad recently, I get off social media. I need to get off it. I need to disappear because like she's mainly like, you know, urging you to focus on is look within, take accountability. Those likes and those comments and those losers hitting you up like, hey, what are you doing at 3 a.m? That can make you feel some sort of like, oh. But at the end of the day, they don't care. They're not asking how you're doing. Care. You're the only person who really is feeling it.
It's their dopamine hit for them in that moment.
Ooh. So it's just dopamine after dopamine, and it's mindless.
It is so
it's not conscious and it's not intentional.
So real.
For the better of anyone, really.
And that's what like social media does to us. And it's so mindless that if you don't take control of it, it will take control of you. Because like just like if you hear those people who delete social media for a little bit or have to take those social media breaks, even celebrities, like I admire those people. People think it's like, oh, this is your job, this is what you're supposed to be doing, but like no, you can do your job in different ways. You're still a human, you're still doing human things in the real world. Social media doesn't have to what's the word, doesn't have to show it for you. Like, you know you're doing something, so social media doesn't have to justify that.
Yeah, I think that's awesome, because I think what she's trying to get at is you don't need to rely on social media to prove that you're living life. You don't. And so, just because it's very prominent in our society and our culture right now, it doesn't mean that you need to be attached to it 24/7. It's unhealthy for you to be attached to anything except your soul.
And it doesn't show you're happy. It generally doesn't show you're happy, because there's a person, there's an actual human on the other side of that screen, feeling and going through things.
I literally just thought that. I was scrolling on TikTok and I was like, these are people.
Like actual people. And that's a word.
We live in an illusion.
That's sondering, when you realize people around you have are also experiencing life in a different way as you.
We will probably make a podcast in the future about like social media and its impact in our lives and stuff. That was a really good point, which again, just going back to how to live a happier life and how to find more happiness and peace within yourself. That is the key. It's to look within yourself instead of out there. Yeah. But that's so good, Naya. I'd say that another big one that I have learned and that I'm currently learning is, in order for you to live more blissful and more just detached from like tension and just all of the things that are taking away from your peace and happiness, is accepting that the past happened the way it happened. And I'm still learning it, but I've gotten so much better with time. And I'm 23 now, barely, but even at 20, even at 21, 20, even 22, I mean, seriously, like you can grow so much within like months, let alone years. But
this is one like for the rest of your life, honestly.
Yeah, no, it is. But when you are able to perfect it, or not even perfect it, but really execute that skill like time and time, and the earlier you start, which is your 20s, the better you'll get at it in the future. Which is why it's super important to kind of just have that in your thought as you're like working through like your life. Is a lot of the things that happen in our lives are not going to be the way we expect it. We're not going to understand why certain things ended the way they ended, whether that be jobs, we got fired for no reason, whether that be career changes, that, you know, relationships, friendships, family stuff. We need to be okay, and we need to accept that whether we had this idea of what could have been and what we really wanted, it didn't.
When you say that, what could have been doesn't mean it should have been.
No. So I was gonna say, the more that you continue to emphasize in your head, like, what if, the more that you're taking away of what could. So leave space for future. Stop focusing so much on the past and all that didn't work out, because you need to believe that if you are doing everything right now to grow as a person, to become better as a person, and become the better version of yourself in any way or in every way, then you are exactly where you're supposed to be. And you need to trust that freaking process. If you believe in God, then God's timing is always perfect. I do. Mwah.
Yeah.
If you believe in the world and energies, then believe that you putting out good energy and letting go of the past, and better will come to you. You need to have faith, and you need to believe in whatever you believe in, but believe that better is coming for you, because there's no way that you were put on this earth to spend the rest of your time reminiscing on what could have been. And
that's pretty powerful.
If you find yourself in a position right now where you are in a, I just saw this from Mel Robbins, I posted it.
Real one.
If you're in a position right now where you find yourself stuck in a job that is not paying you well, or in a relationship where the person is not treating you right, because it could, and you have this idea of what will happen possibly, or what could have been happening. It's not, though. Look at it for what it is right now. It's not bettering you. Things ended the way that they were supposed to, and again, the quicker that you learn to accept it, the quicker that you're able to allow space for new things. I think that's very important.
I think that ate.
Yeah,
Stop living in the past.
That's hard.
I think that's a very, very big one. And damn.
It's the thief of joy. Just like they say comparison's the thief of joy. Living in the past is the thief of joy.
Because there could be so many things that you didn't, like we've also mentioned, that you didn't have control over when you were younger or whatever, that you can literally do now.
Yes.
Like, you don't have to live in the same cycle that you were given when you were younger. Like, yes, maybe you were in a toxic household, or like there were things going wrong when you were younger and stuff like that, but like there's a moment in time where you just have to sit with right now. What is happening right now? If you are unhappy right now, what can I do to better myself for the future? What can I do right now?
Have a plan.
You can look to the past to guide you in a way, and see it as like, it's like learn from the past to change in the future. You can learn from it, because that is, everything of your past has relevance. It's something that has happened to you. It is your personal story. But don't get caught up in it.
In the emotional state that you were in.
Exactly.
Like, let the lesson linger, not the emotion.
So
emotions
can, like, the trigger that comes with it.
Yeah, and you know, there's when I'm saying this, I just want to clarify, there's a really big difference in letting go of the past and not living in the past, and not allowing yourself to feel the pain from the past. So if you don't feel the pain from the past, actually they go hand in hand, really.
They do.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because if you don't allow yourself to, in the moment, grieve from the past, or from what just happened or whatever, or feel that breakup, or feel that, you know, you got let down, or just something deteriorating, if you don't feel that pain, then yeah, it's gonna linger, whether you like it or not, subconsciously, because it's something that your brain is asking you to literally acknowledge and take accountability for. If not, it's gonna replay. It's gonna replay in different ways with different people and different cycles.
That is such an important thing to like, you really have to acknowledge those feelings. If you don't want it to come up again later on in your life, acknowledge it. Yes, you have a past. It's important to not forget that, because if you don't dive into your past and try to learn from it, you will not be able to move forward. Grieve your grief. Get over that relationship. Take time to realize why you were attached to that person. There are so many different ways that you can take the past and learn from it and move forward.
Mm-hmm. That's the key. Take it. The key is to feel the pain and and really grieve through it in order to move forward. It's not to just stay there in a stage of sadness and but it could have been, like I said, like,
and it's okay to grieve that person
it's
you
okay.
used to be.
It's necessary.
It's necessary.
But it does become up to you whether you're gonna let that
deter you,
withhold you in the future, or allow you to seek more, because you're so much worthy. You're worthy of so much more, honestly. I don't even know who's watching this, but I know that you're worthy of a lot because you're watching this, and from the title, then you want to better yourself. So that's really incredible.
Yeah,
actually.
The fact that you're even taking the time to watch these, like, it means so much to us, but it also should mean something to you, because taking time, this is you looking within. This is honor yourself. Give yourself that grace, because that is another way of finding peace with yourself. Yeah, you're not going to be able to implement all these things we're saying right today or tomorrow or next week or the next month, but you will eventually. And these things take time, but it is something worth putting your time into, because your happiness is what's going to guide you the rest of your life. It's not going to be linear. It's not going to be straight. Like, you're not always going to know what's going to happen. You're not always going to be aware of the outcome or whatever, because the unknown is the unknown. But what you do have control over is what you are doing right now to better yourself. And I think that is just so beautiful, the fact that we can even do that. It is
the fact that we don't have to stay broken. Because you're broken, you don't have to stay broken. Like Naya was saying, she brought up a good point. You came from, an abusive household. You came from anything that happened within your childhood that was not ideal, which I think a lot of us experience in a very heartbreaking way, because you have no control as a child. It's important to, again, sit with it, feel the pain of it, and be like, wow, that played a big factor in the way I look at things now, the way I self-sabotage, the things that are hindering me from being my best version. Yes, but you cannot change it. It happened. So don't keep justifying the bad things in your life for, when I was a child. Feel the pain, recognize that that's why you operate in a certain way, but be so thrilled and excited for the new version of you that you don't let that take away from your power or your potential. Let it empower you, always.
So real.
Always, always, always.
No, because happiness, like we've said over and over, it is not something that you will be able to anticipate. It's not something that you'll be like, I'm going to wake up tomorrow feeling happy. You will never be able to do that. It's not a button. Wish it was. But
Me too. I wish it was Inside Out.
Yeah, literally. I was just joy. Sadness be. She be hitting sometimes.
She does her big one.
She does her. But we are truly so blessed to even feel in this life, and so many people, even the feeling of happiness is such a graceful thing. To have those boosts of dopamine when your friend hugs you, or when your friend texts you, or when you go out with someone and you have a really good conversation and they help, they point out something that you're like, damn, I didn't think they noticed, but it really affects you and makes you feel seen. Those are such beautiful things to feel.
Yeah.
And when you pay attention to those things and what really guides you in this life, it is so much easier to move forward. And when you're feeling low, which is inevitable, it's going to happen. You will feel low, eventually in your life, in your 30s, in your 40s, in your 50s, whenever. Finding routines that bring you back to a comfortable state of this friend makes me feel good, or journaling makes me feel like I get everything out, talking to this person helps me, coloring, or playing an instrument, or singing, or whatever makes you feel good. It is okay to go back to that. It is a part of your past, and it can be a part of your present if that's what makes you feel good. But get rid of the stuff that doesn't, because you have control over that. You really do. And unlike your past when you were a kid and you didn't, this is the time where you can take control of that.
And even though no one wants to hear you're gonna experience sadness and pain again in your life, I get that no one may want to hear that, but also it's so necessary and important to be okay with that, because without it, happiness would be nothing.
So, oh my God, that is such a big one, I think.
If you don't experience sadness or anger or tension, then you can't really enjoy or appreciate the moments where you feel happy and peaceful and kind. So being human is that. Being human is understanding that we're going to feel so many emotions, but every single one of those emotions are necessary and they are important. And obviously, the optimal emotion to feel for most people is happiness and peace, security and confidence. None of those, literally absolutely not one of those would be possible without feeling the bad ones.
So real. You have to hit the low to
You have to
feel
hit the
high.
low and use the low to bring you to these, and each time that you keep hitting the low, you'll come back to these in a stronger way because you're learning new things, you're becoming more resilient, and you're spending more time with you. You're processing how you understand emotions and all that. But like Naya said, it's also very important to surround yourself with the people that are in the same mindset. She is my twin. If I didn't live with her, oh, cut. I adore her as well as so many other friends that I just feel like truly have the same mindset and uplift you and help you through tough times. That's also very important. But at the end of the day, the most important person to be there for you is you. And so
people
just
can
keep
help
that in
you
mind.
feel better, but like
It's up to you.
You have to admit it to yourself first.
Yeah.
And it's a hard thing to do, but no one else can do that for you. Hard shouldn't deter you from doing it because nothing is easy in this life, which is what we spoke about in another podcast. Go watch our first one.
But I wanted to ask you, has there ever been like a moment where you like really thought like, I'm not gonna get through this, like I'm not gonna get over it?
Yeah.
Like a moment, what you don't have to share if you want, but like what pushed you to be like, no, I have to get over it?
I think it was more the fact that we're only given one life. We are really only given one life on this earth, and I know that's so cliche to say, but when you really when you really acknowledge that fact, you try to take every moment for what it is. Even if it's a good moment, a bad moment, the arguing, the laughing, like all of it, you really try to just take it for what it is. And I'm really experiencing that right now, like just about to graduate. I don't know where I'll be moving and stuff. Like it is so important, like a big part of why we started this podcast is to live in the moment. Feel how you're feeling right now because that's the biggest guide to how you can go about things. And happiness, you just like she said, you have to feel the lows to feel the highs. It just generally is a fact, and you will never know what that high feels like unless you know what it feels like to feel that pain.
Right. And what do they say about rock bottom? They're like, there's only one
way up.
And it's so true.
So basically, all in all, your happiness isn't dependent on anyone else but you. You should be your biggest supporter, your biggest fan. You're like, even in those low moments, it's okay to feel those moments because you have to feel those moments to feel the high moments. But even in those moments, you can do things that help you, like breathe. You can journal,
read,
you can talk to people, you can reach out to family,
dance.
You can dance, you can sing. Like there's so many things you can do even when you're in those low moments, and that's what will uplift you. Pay attention to yourself because you know yourself best. No one else can tell you how to feel. And with that being said, we are so grateful that you guys are coming along this journey with us. We are just so blessed to have the opportunity to speak to you guys like this, and we hope
to keep learning from each other and from life. We're very cognizant of the fact that the things we say are easier said than done for ourselves as well, but easy is boring. It really is. The key is to, like we were saying, look within instead of looking for happiness outside, because the outside world is very unpredictable.
Extremely. And you will never have control over that. That is a fact. But you do have control over yourself.
Period.
So thank you for listening.
Thank you as always.
Love you guys. Please come back next week to watch our 4th episode.
Comment down.
Yeah, we want your feedback. We really, really need it at this time. We're trying to just begin this and get everything together. It will become more official as time goes on, but truly, truly, truly thank you. We would not be able to do this unless we had a support system that is there for us. So thank you. We love you guys. We will be back very soon. See you guys next week.
See you guys.
Ready, set,
go.
Go.
Mwah.
I wouldn't wanna be anybody else.
Hey guys! Welcome back to Just
Right?
Now!
Oh my god, I forgot to do that one. Exactly.
Yeah, so that's like the verb. No,
Oh.
is it a verb?
Mm.
A verb is a
verb.
word. It's an
It's
action
actual
word.
word.
If you do it, then you do it. If you do it, it's a verb.
Oh my god, that just brought back
Or
so
maybe
many
not.
memories.
That was good, right?
Yeah.
Process of mitosis.
I can try and dive deep in.
Cut. We're twins. Thumbnail.
Thumbnail. Okay.
Just kidding. Because at the end of the day, you're gonna die with it alone. Sorry, that was deep. So yeah, I don't want to.
I want you to.
Can we be done?
We're almost done.
Okay.
Okay.
Cut.
Cut.
She wants me to squeeze closer to her.
Oh, yeah, I want her present.
Song's out.
Yeah, guys, go listen to our song.
The key is just fuck.
Bye.
Ready?
Oh.